Hello everyone, this is another boss fight guide. This is one of the most hardest in the league. It's Galakros, the devastating mountain. Fight itself is basically a pilot battle. You have to avoid certain mechanics according to dish out damage and stay alive. I'm gonna explain most of the mechanics during the fight. Now I'm just gonna share general information about his stats and damage types. So first of all, he starts with (3091) offensive ability and 3136 defensive ability. Pretty straightforward, nothing scary, very easy to prepare offensive and defensive ability for this fight. Usually you want at least 3200 offensive ability to be able to crit him. This is the bare minimum. I advise you to have more. After all, it's an endgame battle, it's good to have some corruptions and stuff. Apart from that, he deals ether, poison and acid, and physical damage. In general, most heavy hits contain poison and ether, but these mechanics I'm gonna explain during the fight. How I'm gonna prepare my resistances for this fight. This fight is a very hard to overcap. What I like to do is to have 18 cap overcap on ether and 80 overcap on the poison, just to nullify the ether crystals that he's gonna spawn. They reduce up to 65% resistances. And usually my plan for this fight is to avoid his personal resistance shreds. This is very slow attacks, and honestly it's very hard to dodge all the crystals. It's much easier to dodge him and take few of the crystal shots. This is my personal preference. Usually if you want to overcap, you need at least 130 maybe plus, which is almost impossible for most setup. Galakros fight itself is very favorable to melee classes, toe to toe, tanks, bruisers, assassins, nightblades type of build, dual wielding, two-handed builds like Avenger Warder or Avenger Archon. This type of builds. It's a very unfavorable for gunners because he spam most of his dangerous abilities. He spam them basically when you're at a distance. So I don't recommend this fight for any gunner. It's gonna be a pain. CDR casters, they doing well. Still disadvantage to the melee classes because you have to be at a distance and you have to avoid a lot of stuff. And spamming casters, they have disadvantage as well. Channeling builds, they have to be in a distance for most part. They have some disadvantage as well, but not as terrible as the gunners, because according to score damage you have to standing still, and it's not very good, because if you take one mechanic is okay, if you take two you're probably dead, especially on a not very well optimized build. Pharmacy that I'm gonna use is gonna be a Dranghu, and I have problems with my poison resistance, so I'm gonna use poison ointment, and I'm gonna start the fight.
Where would you like to go? What? Very well. The shadow. Ah, very well. It will be arranged.
We're gonna do this on a short one, just for the showcase. Opener is a very important. He's gonna open with this one. So this ability over here is a cone type of ability. it's spawn 6 of these bows. And this is one of the most dangerous abilities basically that you have to avoid. What this ability does, it's basically apply massive acid, ether damage and poison on top, but can petrifies you for 3 seconds. Petrify resistance very important for this fight. Every single of his ability contains petrify. But the most horrible thing is 44 reduced target resistances. If I get hit by this and I get hit by his ether crystals that he gonna spawn, it's gonna be a very bad for me. That's why on your opener, wait for this one and manually dodge it. This is next ability. This is his slum. You want to immediately avoid it because this one is another very nasty attack. Basically, if you get hit, you got petrified for 2 seconds. On top of that, you got 700 DA shred. This is the highest DA shred in the game. And it's very nasty debuff because that's gonna stay on you for the next 10 seconds. You have to avoid the slum at every cost. If you get hit by this, it's gonna be a very bad time for you to continue the battle. Even if you get hit by this mid-battle, it's even worse. He always open with his Cone of Cold ability, and after that he always try to slum. Avoid this at any cost. And he's gonna immediately pop up another Cone of Cold. This is Trozan. He's gonna spawn 3 Trozans. It looks exactly the same like his other abilities. This one is not so dangerous. Comes with a massive chance to petrify, it's not guaranteed. Physical damage and some poison damage. So it's good to avoid this as well, but it's not so necessary like the other two. And this is why melee classes have this advantage. He doesn't spam. This is the slum. I'm gonna dodge it again. And this is the crystals. This gonna constantly shoots at you and constantly is gonna drop your resistances by up to 65%. We are not that scary because I'm prepared for this and I'm just gonna avoid his resistance shred abilities. And that's gonna make me safe for the most fight. His charge ability is very dangerous as well. And this is when the problem starts. This is his possession ability. He becomes bigger for the next 35 seconds. He got massive boost to acid, poison, physical, ether damage. Massive boost to offensive ability plus 200. So when he's bigger, his offensive ability becomes 3391, which can be dangerous on some classes because 200 difference is kinda bad. He got massive boost to attack speed. You don't want to engage him in this form. There is a very few high tank setups that can fight under this possession buff. He got massive life regeneration, so you have to hit him from time to time just to nullify the regeneration, because for 35 seconds he's gonna bring some life back and you don't want to. He got 50% damage absorption, another nasty buff, so it's kinda pointless to fight him under this form, apart from just to score some damage, passive damage. And on top of that, he got some flat eater damage on his attacks. So be sure you kite him on this form. I'm not gonna even fight him. I'm just gonna stay away. And I'm gonna just wait until he becomes small again. He's gonna spam constantly his abilities. Just keep distance. You don't want to get hit by the slam. As you can see, if I don't take any other resistance shred, I sustain the crystals. He's small again, so we can engage him. I'm gonna dodge the shards, gonna dodge the slam. If you don't get panicked, it's a pretty straightforward battle. Especially if you are good in toe-to-toe. We're gonna dodge the slam. And pretty much that's the fight. Of course, looks easy in my hands. I'm a veteran in the league. I do this battle thousands of times. But if you execute it properly like me, I didn't get hit by any of his dangerous abilities. The most important, you have to dodge the Cone of Cold ability. That's basically these six balls in a cone of direction. And you have to dodge the slam. Everything else, you can freely face tank the charge. You can freely get hit by one or two of the Trojans, not big deal. It's not a massive damage, especially if you have some good resistances and good setup. But all the rest is pretty much dangerous. This is all important things that you have to know about Galakros fight. So thank you everyone for watching. See you in the next one.